I've got my orange on because in this video we're making an orange cake mix, but it's for adults only. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. In this video I'm going to make the apparently very beloved cake of the 1970s, the Harvey Wallbanger cake. And many of you in my discontinued cake mix flavors video were forlorn that the orange cake mix is no longer available because you loved the Harvey Wallbanger cake. And currently there is a iteration of it from Duncan Hines. I don't know how long it's going to be in circulation. I live in a very big city, and even here only one of the grocery chains carries it. So I grabbed it while I could, and I want to see what all the fuss is about. It's also January. This video will be going up probably early February. It is Cara orange season, so I want to use those to make it. Otherwise, you could use just regular navel oranges because there's fresh juice. There are adult beverages in this. I won't be showing much of that on the screen. YouTube doesn't really like that, but it's going to be in the cake, both baked in it, and then it's also included in the glaze, so there's going to be a kick. It's for adults only. Now let's talk about what is a Harvey Wallbanger next. The Harvey Wallbanger is a classic cocktail that gained popularity in the 1970s. While its exact origin is a bit murky, the most widely accepted story attributes the creation of the drink to a California surfer named Harvey, who frequented a bar called Black Watch in Los Angeles during the 1950s. The story goes that Harvey, a regular at Black Watch, was a poor surfer who had a string of bad luck in competitions. After one particularly disappointing event, he drowned his sorrows in a combination of vodka and Galliano, which is an Italian herbal liquor. Legend has it that after a few too many of these drinks, Harvey banged into the walls of the bar on his way out, earning the drink its name, the Harvey Wallbanger. The cocktail gained mainstream popularity in the 1970s, in part due to a marketing campaign by the Galliano brand. The campaign featured a fictional cartoon character named Harvey Wallbanger, a surfer with a perpetually banged-up surfboard. The catchy marketing and the cocktail's unique name helped make it a hit in the disco era. Alright, so I've got my ingredients here. It calls specifically for French vanilla pudding, and the store brand is the only one that had one that says French vanilla. I don't know that they taste any different, but I want to stick to that original recipe as best I can. And then orange cake mix, which I haven't used a cake mix in 30 years, but I really wanted to see what it is that all of you were going on about in the comments. There are versions made from scratch. King Arthur has a great recipe for it, but I do want to follow along and see what it is you all love so much. And I'm using butter instead of oil. I just think that makes cakes taste better. My eggs are room temperature, and I'm going to juice my oranges along with the these special flavor ingredients that are back here. All right, so I've got my butter melted down. I don't want to get it too hot. So it's 2 sticks of butter, and there's another stick in the glaze. I'll start adding my other ingredients. I'll do the eggs last just to make sure this is cooled down enough not to cook them. I'm using a whisk. I don't think this needs to be beaten. And also the beater will make the cake tough. I'm so inexperienced with box cake mix. That doesn't say anything about, this is a very old recipe card I'm looking at, just handwritten. So there's a pre-mix. And then I have my orange juice, so it's 2/3 cup orange juice, and then 1/4 cup each of the alcohol. Now, if you cannot find Galliano, which even that can be tricky sometimes, I remember let's see, 70s I would have been just like a little tiny baby thing. But my parents entertained a lot and they had a full bar for that purpose. And I remember in the 80s noticing the Galliano bottle, it's so distinctive, and then that distinctive vibrant yellow color. But if you cannot find it, I read that some replacements would be something like Sambuca, Ouzo, Herbsol. You know, see what you can find in your store. But Galliano, of course, is the signature alcohol used for this cocktail. Alright, and we have our orange cake mix. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do the eggs next because sometimes they can take a little more effort to mix in, and I don't want that with the flour. So there's 4 eggs. And this is baked in a bundt pan at 340 degrees. I have a silicone bundt pan, so it doesn't really need any preparing. It's not naturally non-stick, right? And then finally, the cake mix. It doesn't smell like anything. I thought it might smell like orange, but maybe that's high expectations for something in a package. I smell the orange juice. Just gently combine this. Make sure there's no visible pieces of flour. It's an issue when you're working with these box cake mix. They've got the fat and other things put in there coating the flour, and it lumps up like this. Oh, there's another big lump. I'll let this sit and hydrate before I put it into the pan. Right, this is my bundt pan. I did talk about the history of these in that discontinued box mix video. Let's see, this one's a little more ornate than a regular one, but not too much, so I like it. I love baking with silicone. Right. This bakes close to an hour. It says for 55 minutes. I'll check it at 50 minutes and just see how it's doing. All right, my time is up, so I'm just going to test the cake. It looks like it's clean at 50 minutes, so I didn't do the 55 minutes. Now, it has to cool thoroughly before it is glazed. The cocktail itself is the glaze, but with the addition of confectioner sugar. So it's not a soaked cake, but rather a glazed cake that will have the adult beverage in it. So I think I'm going to give this 2 or 3 hours to cool off. I'll do about an hour in the pan and then flip it, let it cool some more. Maybe I'll play some Bee Gees while it cools off to get in that 70s spirit. Tell me your favorite Bee Gees song in the comments. Okay, so I'll be back when it's time to glaze and give it a taste. Right, I've got 1/2 stick of melted butter. I think earlier in the video I said it was going to be a whole stick or 1/2 cup, something like that. It's 1/2 of a stick, so 4 tablespoons of butter, and then about 3 cups of powdered sugar. Some of this you just kind of have to see how it looks, and I'm going to probably sift it in. I'm going to mix the butter and sugar first and then add in the orange juice and the adult beverage. This powdered sugar is actually pretty well sifted. Let's do some of it here. And I'll need to strain my juice and Galliano mixture because there are some seeds from the orange juice in there. Very slight, but it'll make the icing look lumpy. I'm gonna drizzle it. You're already kind of thick here. So I've got half cup orange juice and 2 tablespoons each of the vodka and Galliano. Smell it. I went outside for a bit, and when I came back in just from the cake baking, I could smell it. That looks smooth. Let's go for another cup. I don't even know if I'll need 3 cups for the size of the bundt pan that I have. Start with about half. And I'm using salted butter for this icing, but it says in the recipe to use salt with your butter just to balance out that sweetness. Looking great. All right. So I do want to use all the liquid because I need to make sure I get that flavor, and then I'll play the final cup of the confectioner sugar. See how we go along here. I'm going to do 1 or 2 more of the box cake mix specialty items that was in that video. I have a really nice one planned for early March. That one I'm particularly excited to make. I have a beautiful decoration idea for it. I think it's going to be just stunning. Definitely need more sugar. Always messy to work with this, isn't it? It goes everywhere like snow. So this was not a full cup, so it looks like it's about 2 3/4 right now, plus whatever's been spilling out over this. Looks nice, very silky. So it's kind of somewhere between a frosting and a glaze with the addition of butter to it instead of it just being confectioner sugar and liquid. I'm gonna give it a taste. Mmm, delicious. Definitely tastes like a cocktail. All right, so let's get that cake out onto a plate and get this iced and decorate the plate and give it a taste. give this a taste. I decorated with oranges in the center, as you see. I didn't really know how else I wanted to do this. It's orange. Let's give it a taste. Very moist. Oh, it is tasty. Orangey, and I taste the adult twist on it, shall we say. It's subtle, but it's distinctive. That anisette flavor from the Galliano is there. And the butter makes it delicious. Very good. I see why so many of you loved this in the 70s. I will write the recipe as I made it in the description if you'd like to try it for yourself.